Now, I knew a female, right? She lived in the same building as my grandmother. This was about 7 years ago, maybe. This was about 7 years ago. 2013. Might have been 2013-ish, 2012, 2013-ish. I would go to my grandmother's house from time to time. I think I even would be over there, you know, just chilling or whatnot. I like to talk to my grandmother. But there was this female that stayed there, and she lived there with her mother and I think her other adult sister. Okay? It's her mother and I think it was her sister and they would all stay there, right? Now, she had a bunch of kids, okay? And I think a couple of them were with one of her baby's fathers. And he actually was getting child support from her. He was getting child support from this particular female. She had to work. She didn't want to work. So she'll work a job for a little bit and then she'll stop. And then she'll start dating these guys. I think one of those guys she started dating, he got her a job. Because she used to date this dude who she would smoke a blunt with outside. Her and this dude, I guess that was a boyfriend or probably her weed guy. They would sit on the balcony and they would be smoking, you know. Then she ended up getting rid of that guy and started dating a guy who seemed like he was a little bit older. Now, mind you, this chick is like in her 30s, I believe, early 30s. And I think he got her a job. They start dating. And then she finally moved out. But she was paying child support. Okay? She was paying child support to this, to her ex. Because he had the kids. And this is a chick who could not keep a job. What's good, Ricky? This chick could not keep a job, right? But she had to maintain her habit and pay that child support. And she wanted to be free. She didn't want the responsibility. Instead of her fighting for her kids, because women can get all types of, get into all types of programs that, welfare, Section 8, WIC, food stamps. But she would rather be broke and destitute dealing with some dude than be around her kids. She would rather be in and out of jail for not paying child support than be with her kids. So this mindset, whether y'all believe it is real or not, with these females, I want y'all to understand what's very real. It's the fact that women nowadays, a lot of the times, they don't want the responsibilities of being a parent. They don't. They want to go and do what they want to do. And that's why they end up in the situation they end up in. So, whether these situations with this particular female in the video, whether you think it's real or fake, I think that the truth is always in the middle. There's always going to be women out there that don't want to have their kids. They want to be free. They want to be free from their kids. They don't want that. They don't want that type of lifestyle for themselves. But the thing is, they end up at a very young age, probably when they were teenagers in high school, they end up having kids, right? They end up having kids, and they end up regretting it. But they continue to keep having them and keep having them and keep having them because, again, they're in their prime when they're, I would say, between 18 and about 23, 24. So they're getting a lot of attention, right? And they're getting a lot of attention from different men. And they're trying to lock those men down. So they think by having a kid with those men, it's going to keep them with them. But it doesn't work that way. Even to this day, women are still practicing that. Even to this day, women are practicing that type of mentality. Okay? And I think that's the major problem that we have, is that no matter how much you give women, they'll still throw it all away just to not have the responsibility when they could have took care of that to begin with. They could have took care of that to begin with. That's why we have a community full of single moms. Because a lot of times they really don't care to be not only moms, but to raise them kids on their own, to be wives. They don't want that responsibility. Why do you think they're so quick to leave these marriages? You know? Why do you think they're quick to leave those marriages? Now, I know that society tells us that it's bad to be critical of women, right? Make sure y'all like this stream. I had to make a change midstream. It's all good. It happens. It's no big deal. It's a live stream. It's not a video. Now, I want people to understand I have no issue with women being single mothers if they were in a relationship or marriage for a while and they had a kid and it just didn't work out and now they're single mothers. I mean, that happens. But when you're out here just dating this guy, having a kid, dating this guy and having a kid, and you're not taking the time to be in a relationship first, you know, you're just getting with this dude and it ain't got no labels, unprotected relations, he's still dealing with other women, you dealing with other men. That's a recipe for disaster. That's a recipe for disaster. You know? So, in today's age, right, us as men, we have to have the responsibility if not only relationships work, but if communities work. We have to be accountable for when women mess up. When a marriage or relationship doesn't work, they point the finger at us. You know, we're the problem. We have to work on it. We got to do better. Instead of just saying, you know what, I think both of these people have issues. They were wrong for each other. They're wrong for each other, you know. Now, the fact that you have women who are willing to give up their kids, right? You got women who are willing to give up their kids, and they're okay with giving those kids up because they think that it's going to better themselves socially. What if you have more? You know, have you thought of that? You know, what if you, just like with abortion, you have women who support that, right? They support doing that because they've done it probably multiple times, and then they will still go and have kids. You know? They will still go and have more kids. Now, honestly, I think that if you're out here having unprotected relations and you're getting pregnant, you have the most responsibility in that situation. You cannot blame anybody else and point the finger, because you have the right to say no. You have the right to say no. You have every right to say no. But if it's a situation where, you know, it's not consensual, that's a whole different topic. But you have women who are very consensual. They're doing it because they want to, you know, and a kid happens. And it's, you know, even if you think the dude has a strong pull-out game, you know, that still mistakes can happen. Mistakes can still happen. And, you know, people can still have kids. You know, it happens. So, again, if it's up to someone in a relationship, if it's up to somebody in that whole scenario to have the burden of responsibility, especially if you don't want kids, it's up to the women at the end of the day, because they are the ones who are going to do the carrying and the conceiving. So, again, y'all have to look at it through a lens of logic, right? You have to look at it through the fact that a lot of times women are not going to think logically. They're going to think emotionally. They're going to be like, they're attracted to this person and they want to sleep with them. Just like men, when they're attracted to a woman, they want to sleep with her, right? But the difference is that, once again, if you don't want to have any kids, you don't want to be a mom, then you got to make sure that it's protected. You know, you got to make sure that, you know, you're protected. You cannot be out here screwing up. You know what I'm saying? You can't be out here having kids with guys you don't like. With men you know financially ain't in the best position. Because it's going to affect you the most. It's going to affect you the most because you are the parent who are going to be carrying the most a burden of the responsibility. You know, you're going to be responsible for taking care of the kids when they're here. You know, and we have to really look at that and understand that. You got to be able to understand that part. Because if you don't, then you're going to be like some of these women who are willing to give up their kids and brag about it. Whether y'all think that it's real or not, let me tell you what's real. What's real is that there are a lot of women who are aborting. There's a lot of women who are giving up their parental rights, either to the father or to the grandparents or to the state. That stuff is happening. You know, there are women who will give one away and keep one. You know, that's just the type of society that we're in. But I think accountability needs to be had before pointing the finger.